Tonight's got the perfect vibe, doesn't it? The air's got a bite, the kind that sinks deep into your bones. Darkness? It wraps around you like an old friend, or maybe an old enemy, waiting for the right moment. And at full moon, it's just hanging there, staring down like it knows all the secrets you keep hidden. You feel it, don't you? The night's alive, hunger for a story or two. Well, I've got a couple that will make your blood run cold, especially if you ever wonder what's really lurking in the woods when the moon is at its peak. So grab a beer, sit back, and let's see if we can keep the wolves at bay. There's this village, small and forgotten, the kind of place that time's trying to erase, but it hangs on like a stubborn stain. My buddy, science freak and space junkie, never bought into the supernatural, except for one thing: werewolves. You think that a guy who talks about quantum physics and black holes will laugh at the idea of man turning a beast, but Lucas, he's got his reasons. And when you hear them, you'll understand why. Back when Lucas was just a kid, he and his sister were out for a late summer bike ride, feeling the breeze, laughing, the sun setting behind them. It was a getting late, shadows growing long, and they decided to head home. That's when they saw it. Massive creature, something that shouldn't exist, rising from the ditch beside the road. Its eyes glowed yellow, like two burning embers in the growing darkness, and it had his snout long and dripping with something thin and dark. Looking at his sister froze, just for a heartbeat, and then their bodies kicked into gear. They pedaled like their lives depend on it, and trust me, they probably did. The thing stood up on two legs, and it had to be at least 7 feet tall, but it didn't give a chase. Just stood there, watching them bolt. They didn't stop until they were locked inside the house, curtains drawn, hair racing in their chests. Now, Lucas' sister, she's no nonsense type, doesn't believe in anything she can't touch or explain, but even she swears she saw it. Fast forward a few years, and more people in the village start whispering about the creature stalking the woods. One kid climbed and followed him through the woods. It bred hot on his neck, but when he turned around, it was gone, like it was toying with him. Lucas, he figured that creature only showed in certain seasons, like the moon called it out, but after a while the sighting stopped, and the village went back to its quiet, sleepy existence. Or so they thought. Years later, I'm visiting the village with Lucas. We're chilling, beer in hand, playing Red Dead Redemption, when the fog rolls in thick and heavy, almost like it's alive. We're out by the camper, smoking and talking about space, when we hear it. It's long, low, hollow. It crawls up my spine and sits there, gnawing at the back of my skull. We turn toward the gate, and I swear to God, there's something there. It's tall, moving on all fours, but it's too damn big to be any regular animal. Its eyes catch the moonlight for just a second before it slips into the fog. We didn't stick around to see what it was. Call me a coward, but when something that big is stalking you, you don't wait to find out if it's friendly. We ran inside, locked the door, and didn't speak about it until we were 2 beers in. The next morning, my mother-in-law tells me that she buried some protection jar near the gate, because she felt something evil prowling around the house. Since then, nothing. No sightings, no howls. Would you tell me, did it really just disappear? Or is it out there, waiting for the next unlucky soul to cross its path? I once heard this story from a guy who learned card tricks from a traveling gypsy, a real master of the mystic arts. This man had spent his childhood with the gypsies, who camped out in the forest, practicing the craft, reading poems, and performing rituals under the moon's eerie glow. One summer, something started killing the village animals. At first, it was just chickens, their bodies ripped apart, blood sucking the dirt, then it was dogs. One per mat was left skinned. It got laid out in neat little piles like goddamn offering. The authorities blamed the wolves, maybe the lynx, but the villagers weren't buying it. This wasn't a simple animal attack, this was something worse. And then one night, old Charlie, local drunk, was staggering his way home, barely standing, after another long night at the bar. The moon hung high, casting long, twisted shadows over the cobblestone streets. Suddenly, he heard a growl, low and rumbling, like it was coming from the pit of hell itself. His gut tightened, and for the first time at the night, he sobered up just enough to realize something was very, very wrong. That's when he saw it, a hulking mass of fur and muscle, eyes glowing like embers, staring straight at him. The face, it was wrong, twisted, half man, half beast, with fangs dripping saliva. For a second Charlie thought he was seeing things. Maybe the liquor was playing tricks on him. But when that thing let out a howl that chilled him to his bones, he knew it was real. Heart pounding, he stumped backward, nearly tripping over himself. The beast growled, low and menacing. And then it charged. Charlie, panic surging through him, turned and bolted, sprinting for his life. His heart was thudding, so loud he thought it would burst right out of his chest. The thing's claws scrubbed the ground, closing it. It sounded like nails on a coffin lid. He could feel its hard breath on his neck, its growls gnawing louder, more vicious. He reached his front gate, fumbled with the latch, and slammed it shut just the creature length. But it wasn't enough. It reached through, claws catching his leg, and then in the act. Charlie felt the sharp, searing pain as claws tore through muscle and bone like a hot knife through the barrier. He screamed, dragged himself up to the porch steps, leaving a trail of blood behind him. The beast snarled, tugging at his leg, trying to pull him back out into the darkness. He kicked, struggled, and finally managed to slam the door shut, collapsing inside, panting, and clutching his mangled leg. The doctors patched him up, called it animal attack. The townsfolk, well, they just said he was seeing things again, too drunk to know the difference between a wolf and his own shadow. But Charlie knew. Whatever he'd seen that night, it wasn't just some stray dog. And when the gypsies found those claw marks on his gate and the tracks leading up to his door, they shook their heads, muttering in hushed voices. They'd seen those marks before, and they knew what lurked out there. This one is hard to tell. A wide-awake father and his boy, living alone in a little house on the edge of the village. The boy's mother had died from tuberculosis, leaving the father to raise him alone. He was a good man, always trying to protect his son from the growing darkness spreading through the village. Some things just can't protect your children from. One night, the boy woke up sweating, the heat in his room suffocating. He cracked the window to let some air in, and that's when he saw it. A face, monstrous face with glowing eyes and sharp, blood-stained teeth, staring at him from the shadows. Before he could scream, the thing landed, shattering the window, glass flying everywhere. The boy's cries woke his father, who burst into the room, fighting his son tangled in the creature's claw. The father grabbed a poker from the fireplace and swung with everything he had, but it wasn't enough. The creature, faster than anything human, snatched the boy and dragged him through the shattered window. The father chased after him, his feet bleeding from the broken glass, his heart pounding in his chest. But by the time he reached the woods, there was nothing left. No sound, no tracks, just silence. The village didn't believe him, of course. They said he'd gone mad, that the loss of his wife had pushed him over the edge. The truth is, something the darkness comes from you. And when it does, it takes everything you love with it. So, what happened to the boy? Did he become another lost soul, wandering the woods under the light of the full moon? Or did the beast take him for good? The gypsies say the creature was killed, but some ancient magic drove it away. But me, I think it's still out there, waiting for the next time the moon rises, full and bright in the sky, hungry for blood. So keep your doors locked, my night crows. Keep your windows shut tight, because sometimes, when the night is dark and the wind is howling, it's not just the cold that's creeping in. It's something much, much worse. And that, my friends, is all for tonight. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, when the shadows stretch long and the moon is high, you never know what's lurking just beyond the light.